You've tried talk therapy, self-help books, and meditation, but emotional pain still lingers. What if tapping on your face could unlock real healing? Sounds strange? That's what many thought, until they tried EFT tapping. Let's dig into what EFT is, how it works, and whether it can truly heal emotional trauma, or if it's just another wellness trend. Welcome. In this episode, we're exploring a powerful self-help tool that's gained global attention: EFT tapping, also known as emotional freedom techniques. This method promises to help relieve anxiety, reduce stress, and even process trauma by simply tapping on specific points of the body. But does it actually work? In the next 7 minutes, we'll break down the science behind EFT tapping, how it's used for emotional trauma, and what the research and real people say about its results. Whether you're a skeptic or a seeker, this will give you a clear, evidence-based understanding of one of the most talked about techniques in energy psychology. Segment 1. What is EFT tapping? EFT, or Emotional Freedom Techniques, is a therapeutic method that combines acupressure and modern psychology. The process involves tapping on specific meridian points on the body while voicing statements about emotional distress. It's often described as psychological acupuncture without needles. The basic steps of EFT are: identify the issue, a fear, memory, or emotional trigger. Rate the intensity, from 0 to 10. Set up a statement. For example, even though I feel anxious, I deeply and completely accept myself. Tap through the points: top of head, eyebrows, side of eye, under nose, chin, collarbone, underarm. Repeat while tapping. This is combined with mindful focus on the problem. Reassess the intensity. See if the emotion has lessened. Practitioners say this helps clear the emotional energy stuck in your body and helps the nervous system reset. Segment 2. The origins of EFT tapping. EFT was developed in the 1990s by Gary Craig, a Stanford-trained engineer who studied thought field therapy, a more complex form of energy psychology. Craig simplified it into a method anyone could use without professional training. Over the years, it gained attention for helping with issues like phobias, PTSD, anxiety, depression, and even chronic pain. Celebrities, therapists, and trauma survivors alike have praised EFT's effects. But how does it actually work? Segment 3. How EFT may heal emotional trauma. Let's talk about trauma. Emotional trauma isn't just a bad memory. It's stored in the nervous system. When triggered, the body reacts as if the event is happening now. This is where EFT may come in. When you tap, you're stimulating the body's acupressure, points used for thousands of years in traditional Chinese medicine. At the same time, you're mentally focusing on the traumatic event or emotion. This combination seems to send calming signals to the brain, especially the amygdala, which processes fear. Studies show tapping may help regulate the stress response, reduce cortisol, and disrupt the emotional loop connected to trauma. The result? Your brain may start to uncouple the emotional charge from the memory. It's not erasing what happened. It's changing how your body reacts to it. Segment 4. What the research says. Let's look at the science. Numerous clinical trials have evaluated EFT for trauma and anxiety. Here are some highlights. A 2019 meta-analysis published in the Journal of Nervous and Mental Disease found that EFT significantly reduced anxiety compared to control groups. In a randomized study with veterans diagnosed with PTSD, 90% of those using EFT no longer met PTSD criteria after 6 sessions. Another study reported a 43% drop in cortisol levels after 1 EFT session. These results are striking, especially considering how simple and non-invasive the method is. Still, mainstream science is cautious. Critics argue more large-scale, long-term studies are needed, but EFT is increasingly being integrated into trauma therapy, coaching, and self-help programs. Segment 5. The tapping process, step by step. Here's a simplified overview of a typical EFT session focused on trauma healing. Choose a specific event. The more detailed, the better. Vague emotions are harder to clear. Name the emotion: fear, shame, sadness, guilt. Rate the emotion's intensity, from 0 to 10. Use a setup statement. Even though I feel this emotion about event, I deeply and completely accept myself. Tap through points in sequence while repeating reminder phrases: this feeling of fear, or this memory of what happened. After a few rounds, stop and check in. Has the intensity dropped? You repeat this process until the emotion feels neutral or manageable. Segment 6. Can you use EFT on your own? Absolutely. One of EFT's biggest strengths is its accessibility. You can use it before sleep to release anxiety, after a stressful conversation while remembering a traumatic event, as part of a daily mindfulness practice. However, if you're dealing with deep trauma or abuse, it's recommended to work with a certified EFT practitioner. They can guide the process safely and help you avoid re-traumatization. Segment 7. Success stories and skepticism. Let's be real. EFT doesn't work for everyone. Some feel silly tapping on their face and talking to themselves. Others notice no change. And that's valid. Healing isn't one size fits all. But for many, EFT has been a life-changing tool. People have reported breakthroughs with phobias, grief, emotional abuse, and even physical symptoms linked to trauma. The key is consistency and specificity. The more you practice and tune into your own emotions, the more likely it is to work. Segment 8. Final thoughts. Is it worth trying? So, does EFT tapping really heal emotional trauma? Here's the bottom line. Scientific research shows promising results. It's safe, free, and accessible. It helps many people feel calmer and more in control. But it's not a miracle cure, and it's not a replacement for therapy in severe cases. If you're curious, there's no harm in trying it. Sometimes the most effective healing tools are the ones that seem the simplest. Emotional trauma doesn't have to define your life. With the right tools, your nervous system can learn to feel safe again. Whether EFT becomes part of your journey or just a stepping stone, you're doing the most important thing already: seeking healing. Thanks for listening. If this episode helped you understand EFT tapping and trauma, share it with someone you care about. And don't forget to subscribe for more insights on emotional wellness, self-regulation, and healing from within. Be gentle with yourself and keep going.